You're watching the Kop TV, the voice of football's most famous stand.
Salah to settle it!
Yes, good afternoon and welcome back to the Kop TV, the voice of football's most famous stand. Big up to everyone who's waiting for us to jump on. You've got myself, AGT, and Crystal Palace fan, Kane. I think it's his second or third appearance on the Kop TV, guys. So show him some love. Big Palace fan, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, not bad. I'm here with a record of every defeat possible. Probably going to be another one. It's not a good time for us, but we'll get into it. It's one of those.
It's one of those games. Now, listen, bro, you're feeling bad about your team at the minute. I mean, I've only just allowed myself to jump back on a camera after what happened at Anfield on Tuesday night. Remember, do as Bear says. Smash those likes. Please make sure you do that as well and subscribe to the Kop TV. We're very close to 30,000 now, guys. Just a couple of hundred away. So please, if you haven't already, make sure that you are supporting us and supporting the channel and subscribing. And it does mean a lot. Scouse African already asking Kane if he's well. How are you, mate? You okay? Yeah, all good?
Yeah, as good as I can be.
Good as you can be. Brilliant. Big up to Ant Dicko. Big up to Jamie as well. Let's get into this one. Crystal Palace versus Liverpool. Saturday, 7:45 kickoff. A late one, this one. The stats read well for Liverpool going to Crystal Palace. Let me read out some stats for you there, Kane. These aren't going to sound good for you. However, Palace are desperate to halt a run of 7 straight winless Premier League matches as they host Liverpool on Saturday. Liverpool currently in 8th, 35 points. Palace in 12th on 26. But Liverpool, as we know, in the Premier League, won the last 2 games, including that massive 2-0 win away from home at Newcastle, which broke a streak of losing 3 in a row away games for Liverpool. However, look at this stat. This is a good one for Liverpool fans. Liverpool have got the better of Crystal Palace of late, unbeaten in their last 11 Premier League matches, winning 10 and drawing 1. The draw, by the way, was this season at Anfield when Darwin Núñez headbutted Anderson. I've just remembered that draw.
Yeah,
I was at that game. And it is the first, well, potentially Palace could be looking for their first league win against Liverpool since April 2017, which is still, to this day, Kane, the only time in the Premier League that we've lost with fans in the stadium in the last 6 years. So you still hold that.
Still hold that. That is our thing.
No, take it.
We lose every season. We've got that one. It's fine.
No, it's not the best, is it? But listen, we're getting a big welcome here from all of us guys here on the Kop TV. And Ant Dicko says, "Don't worry, we'll gift you a goal." But those stats, listen, they don't read well. Liverpool going to, and listen, even though the record is super strong for Liverpool going to Selhurst Park, without question, it is still a very tough place to go. Or is it, as a Crystal Palace fan? Is that maybe an urban myth? I mean, you tell me now. How do away teams fare?
It's a tough one where this season, I'd say, I try and be positive, where this season, that impact hasn't been quite the same as recent years. But we're in such a weird point right now where, like 2023, we haven't won a game all year. But we've had the hardest run. We've drawn with like United, Newcastle. Then we've had Chelsea, United. We lost by 1 goal. We've had Brighton. We've had literally like every game was been a tough one. And the performances have been all right. Our squad's already in the mud with injuries and suspensions. We were hit hard. So as you can kind of look at it 2 ways of, oh, we literally haven't won a game all year, or we've taken 4 points against kind of the big 5 or 6 realistically. And with what we've got, like even the squad this weekend, Zaha's obviously going to be out. We've had a few just coming back, a few are doubts. We're not in a great place depth-wise, so it's almost like getting even a point out of some of these teams has been impressive. Brentford would have been the first win, but then they got it in 96th minute. So we don't have that impact. I think part of it is this season is Gallagher not being there. We don't have that high press to kind of constantly put teams under pressure. We're sitting back a bit more, but defensively it's still solid. So I think it's definitely one of the harder grounds for like a mid-table team to go to. But this season hasn't had the same effect as normally. It's like a fortress for us, and we're fully behind it, and it works really well. So it's still got that, but not 100% this year.
Yeah, I mean, the stadium itself is an intimidating one. It's obviously fairly small. You've got a little space between where players are taking corners and throw-ins to the crowd, and we love that as Liverpool fans. You know, I think I've said it to you in the past. Like Crystal Palace is like the Anfield of the South. I know you don't like
Yeah, I've
that
heard you say it before. Yeah,
one. But yeah, as Scouse African says here, the Palace fans are great. They play the drums in the stand. They really do make a big atmosphere there. And I think maybe is this a fair point to make? Is the late kickoff maybe gonna lean towards you guys rather than Liverpool? Do you think that counts? I mean, listen, under the lights, you've got the drums, the fans. Saturday night, everyone's gonna have been drinking all day. Is this a harder game for Liverpool or Palace in that way, with it being
we
a
don't
late?
normally get many Saturday night games. It's not
No, neither do
often.
we.
Sometimes we get with TV. It's normally at home. We like never get away TV games, but we never normally get like the Saturday night slot. It's normally the early kick on a Saturday or a Sunday afternoon. So it might be kind of a bit of bias where it's midweek. It's normally cup games and stuff where we've got it. And if we're playing teams aren't as strong, we're probably winning more. But for me, it always feels like if it's dark and it's at Selhurst, there's just like an awe and there's something there, and it just everyone seems to be a bit more up for it. So it could be just results bias, but it does feel to me there is something kind of even though the 1-1 early in the season. I can't remember if that was midweek or I think that was like a Monday night game.
I think it
But
was,
that was like
yeah.
even that one when it was just dark, there was just something about it. Even not being at Selhurst, where it's like a Palace thing, where if it's a night, we just turn up a bit more.
So that was my question. Like, you know,
Yeah.
under the lights, Saturday night, you seem to turn up a bit more. I mean, obviously, there was always this one that we don't really need reminding about. Cheers, Ryan. But it's definitely not an easy place to go. I'm going to have to let Gus in a sec. Maybe you can just read out this stat for us, Kane.
Yeah, so 2013-14, completed Istanbul, 3-0 down. Probably one of the biggest moments for Palace fans. Kind of, we obviously don't get cup finals, so Istanbul is kind of, for now, it is kind of one of our cup finals. It's been one of those moments.
Yeah, I mean, that was a horrible night. I don't think that was the game that lost us the league. We'd already lost the league at this point, and this was just like a thing that Sky and everyone else wanted to jump on and say, oh, look, they were 3-0 up Istanbul. It's an easy thing to say, but here's one, though, from Philip. Palace will smash Liverpool. Top 4 is not going to happen. So, listen, the title of this video today is now all focus has to now be on the top 4. I barely even want to talk about the game on Monday night, but obviously there isn't. I mean, it's not even a mountain to climb. There's about 10 mountains to climb, considering where it is and the team we've got to play against. Gus, will you piss off? I'm trying to work. No. Sorry about that. This is the interesting life of being a dog dad. Just listen to this match preview. You might learn something, mate. No, don't bark at me. But yeah, obviously, there's a massive mountain to climb. Oh my God. No. Again, things you have to do when you're doing content. But knowing the awful result that we went through on Tuesday night, big up to Jake who says Gus is speaking facts. Knowing that, it means that this whole top 4 race, that's all we've got now, really. And I think if we beat Palace away again, that shows a bit of momentum. It shows that we can go away and win games, which again we haven't done necessarily this season at all. But again, what do you think of this top 4 race? I mean, obviously you're looking to beat Liverpool on Saturday night, but from a Palace fan looking at Liverpool, is this a real? Because we still think it is. If we can win this game, we think it's still there. But what do you think about this top 4 race now?
A few weeks ago, I thought it was dead and buried. You haven't got a chance, and I think that the form kind of showed that. Recently, I mean, you've kind of had the better performances, and then you've had the dip in Europe again. So I'm still on the fence about kind of if it's good form or if you're just getting, I don't want to say lucky wins, but kind of, I can't predict how your next kind of 5 or 6 would go, especially with Palace, where I think we embraced the underdog mentality a bit. So that's kind of if we kind of, even if we took a point from you, that's almost like another hit to that challenge. And then
massively
emotionally, mentally, I think that might be a struggle. So if you kind of if you drop points to Palace, I reckon the top 4 race takes a big hit. But I think Arsenal, City, United, the top 3 are kind of settled. That's just how it is. Then Tottenham, I don't even know how Tottenham are up there because they just seem to drop points constantly. Through, I don't know, we're always complaining about the results, but they're always still up there. Newcastle, I think they're just not scoring enough, dropping too many points with draws. They've got EFL Cup issues, they've got Nick Pope issues. I don't think Newcastle are there. So you've only got Fulham and Brighton, and obviously Brighton I don't want up there, so I'm happy for you to leave from them. And then Fulham, I just don't think they've got. They're doing well, but top 4 like this, I think it's just they're missing that extra bit to get there. So it's yours. You've got to work for it, but it's also kind of yours to lose. Where if you get the results, now I do think you would be the favourites, but it's I think this game's a big one, and then kind of your next, put up until like mid-March, I think you could be in it, and then you either know, right, we're up there, or yeah, it's done.
Yeah, the games coming up for Liverpool are Palace away Saturday, Wolves at home Wednesday night, Manchester United at home Sunday night, and then we go into some really difficult fixtures in March, and then obviously there's the international break, and then on the other side of that you've got City away, I think Arsenal at home. So again, where will we be in a month? That's the key question. This isn't even
especially
a must-win.
Wolves is one of those where it's semi-winnable, and United's a big test. With like, if you win all of those, everyone's buzzing. The momentum should carry you. If you've struggled in that, and then you've got a big run, it's a long into the season.
It is. What do you think about this comment here? Big up to you, Brace DeVille. And by the way, guys, if you are sending in your comments, please keep them coming. But if you definitely want your comment to be 100% read out, do send in a super chat if you can support the channel. It goes straight back in to the Kop TV. But this one's a great point. The Madrid loss will have a massive impact on the squad's confidence. I just don't see a way back for us. I mean, I think one of the things that Klopp has to do when preparing the team for this trip is making sure he separates the form from the Champions League to the Premier League. In the Premier League, if that game was in the Premier League on Tuesday night, not against Real Madrid, I think we win it just because of that momentum and being at home. But now, because it was such a catastrophic loss, not only do the heads have to be picked up again, but it's also like, well, we've almost got to forget that, and we've almost got to forget that and just solely focus on this top 4 run. Now, I mean, hopefully the squad's confidence hasn't taken too much of a battering. Saying I don't see a way back for us. I mean, the way back for us would be to win this game and finish in the top 4. That is the way back for Liverpool. There is no other. There is no other hope now for Liverpool this season. It has to be the top 4 finish or bust, really. And if it is bust, you're looking at the chances of signing Bellingham dropping significantly. You're looking at massive probably drop in investment that's available to spend on other players. But on the other side, I mean, again, everyone just echoing what we're saying here. We need 6 points from Palace and Wolves going into the United game. Absolutely true. And City do kick off on 12:30 as well on Saturday. So I know Zaha is a massive blow. We will speak about the Palace team news very shortly. But I think going into this one, if you win this, the momentum picks up again. I'm not saying it picks up enough for you to go to Madrid in a couple of weeks and maybe turn that one around. I think that ties over. However, if Liverpool can come away from this one on Saturday night, it definitely switches that almost a broken mentality after Tuesday night into something that we can build on it and go big on in terms of the top 4. I think as well, this is a great point from Bear. Konate and Diaz coming back, plus Nunez has discovered how to shoot, so there is hope for top 4. This is one of the key points for Liverpool. It's getting the really important players back in that squad. Thiago's still out. We're looking at a long period out for Calvin Ramsey. But then you look at the positive side. Virgil's back. Didn't really do much on Tuesday night, though, to be honest. You're looking at Jota and Firmino packing up the bench again, if not starting. You're looking at Gakpo in a nice run of games now for Liverpool in the Premier League, 2-2. Nunez as well. Very dangerous, as we know. And not via a headbutt, by actually scoring goals this time.
Nunez is the one in your team where, from like the first few quarters of the season to now, he's the one that's like, it's like a completely different player. It's like he's gone from that flop to, I think he's still not kind of fully there, but he's
scored,
showing kind of, he's doing bits
13 goals now.
I mean, the Haaland thing at the start always like wouldn't help. Obviously, the red card Was that his debut, or was that like one of his Anfield debut, or some kind of first?
Was it his debut?
I don't know if it was his debut, or his Anfield debut, or something.
I think it
that was
might have
like,
been. I think it might have been his Anfield debut. Yeah, I mean, I was at the
yeah.
game.
So that kind of thing is just like the
shocking.
worst start possible. So it's kind of mentally, he's probably got a bit of a period to learn over the few months. Now he's starting to bang it in. I guess he'll kind of continue now, and then next season, hopefully, he's kind of what you signed. But I mean, compared to our strikers, we've got absolute crap up front right now. So
Well, let's talk about Palace. Big up to Jen for the super sticker. Thank you so much. Picture of Nunes as well. Big up. And big up to Scouse African as well, who says Liverpool has built their success on their failure. Again, coming back from the depths of losing massive games in massive finals. You look at the 2019 season run, couldn't win it. Win it the next year. 2018 get to final the Champions League, win it the year after. So yeah, you're totally right, Scouse African. Thank you for that. Right, let's go into the team news for Crystal Palace. I have actually put Zaha in the thumbnail to this show because he is Palace's best player. But in terms of if he's not playing, who can Liverpool still look at as being a dangerous threat?
I mean, our squad right now is one. It was thin before injury, so now adding in injuries, it's really thin. And we've kind of built this season. We built a solid back line. Attacking wise, we've got some good options. Obviously, Elise, like his free kick against United, there's moments of magic. It's unreal. But
what a goal!
We don't really, without Zaha, we don't really have that man that you can go to. Where we've got a few that can kind of pop up and do the job in a way that can almost be harder because you can't just take one man out of the game. But there's no kind of if it's 0-0, we're trying to fight. There's no right. Let's get it to Zaha. Let's do what we need to do. I think strikers we've got Mateta, absolute donkey, useless.
Really?
Oh, he's horrific. I got sold on kicking corner flags. That's all he does. He'd go through. I think he scored against Brighton. He scored against one or two teams. Kicked the corner flag. The fans were loving him. Got a permanent deal from his loan. Since he went permanent, the guy is useless. He's like 6'2" and loses every aerial duel. He lost it to like Bruno Fernandes, and it's not what you want. Then we've got Edouard, who I think is a good striker, but not for our system. So Vieira's trying to fit him in everywhere, sometimes on the wing, sometimes up front, and it hasn't really worked. And then if not, we play Jordan Ayew. It's Jordan Ayew. So, yeah. So, I mean, we've got that. Elise is probably the threat, but you don't know whether he's going to turn up. Eze started really well, had his injury, started to come back. He scored recently, so he's getting better, but he's still not the player he was before his injury. So it's like, I'd want him in the team, but I don't expect too much from him yet. And then, I mean, midfield, we've got Lokonga on loan, we've got Decore, Will Hughes is a doubt. Everyone's a doubt at this point. It's almost like we can't predict what start 11's going to play because there's so many injury doubts, as well as like the Zaha confirmed out.
Yeah, well, that's a massive plus for Liverpool. Zaha always turns up, from what I can remember, anyway. Eze,
we've also potentially got no fullbacks. So you can have a field day with your wingers. Mitchell's a doubt. Ward, I think, is out. Then Klein is just Nathaniel Klein. It's like
Liverpool.
The depth is really hurting us. So it could be we kind of play like makeshift centre back at right back, and it works fairly well because Vieira is quite good defensively. But it's like when we lose two fullbacks at the same time, it really hurts us, and that could be the case this week.
Yeah, but I mean, there's some players there that definitely need to probably leave Palace. If you look at the Joel Wards and been great servants to the club, but I think time to leave and have a bit of a refresh, really. Ed here saying Palace have needed a striker since Andy Johnson. Here he is. Hello, Gus. You want to come on the show then? Come on. Right. Everyone loves seeing Gus, but you've been naughty today. Gus, what is the score going to be on Saturday night at Selhurst Park? Yeah, no, I thought similar. Oh, now you want to get down. So, no, I'm going to annoy you for a minute now because you've been annoying me. Yeah. Get off you go. God bless you, bro, says Vasim. You're giving us hope by giving a list of injuries to Crystal Palace. Klein was decent for us. Yeah, he was. I wouldn't say anything nasty about Nathaniel Klein, who's a good servant to us. I mean, him getting injured basically gave Trent Alexander-Arnold a career. So in that way, I guess, yeah, fantastic. Fabinho needs a rest. One thing I was going to say is about Palace. The last time he came to Anfield, where we did see that headbutt, I thought Eze was unbelievable that night. I was so impressed by him. I think he even scored that night, didn't he?
I think it was Zaha, but Eze assist.
That was it. It was that Eze assist for Zaha, yeah. So again, dangerous there if we're looking at individual names that can hurt us. But again, as you mentioned, a lot of injuries. What did you make of Will Hughes giving it this one to the United fans at Old Trafford a couple of weeks ago? I was a big fan.
Yeah, I don't mind it. The one thing with our squad this year, we're kind of lacking that kind of the shithousery where there's not much. We've got Will Hughes in, but he doesn't even play enough for it. And we're a little bit soft, and it's even the little things where if the ball goes out for a throw in, you kick it 5 yards further, and we've got Tyreek Mitchell like giving the ball back to the other team, and we're just like, mate, just like do something just a little bit. Yeah, and especially with Vieira, you're like, right, if you've got Vieira as your manager, there should be kind of everyone crunching hard as nails.
Yeah,
and
should be.
It's a little bit soft, but I think that's part of we're very much in transition, and it's kind of trust the process era for us, where we've brought in. I mean, under Roy Hodgson, we had just a load of 35-year-olds pretty much. So we've got rid of the worst of them, started to bring in some fresh faces, but we've still got the Kleins, the Wards kind of stuck around, where eventually they will transition out, but you just couldn't do it all in one season.
Yeah. Gus, I won't be long. Just bear with me. Scouse African saying, yes, let's not underestimate Crystal Palace. We have won the last 7 years in a row, including a 7-0, by the way, at Crystal Palace a couple years ago. Very fun to watch that one. But look at this. Conman saying, if I was offered a draw, I'd bite your hand off for it, with a picture of John Henry, of all people, as his display picture. Big up to you. I'd start Naby Keita saying Bear. Not too sure about that. Klein's never been the same since the ACL injury. Hughes is the only dull Crystal Palace have in midfield. Hughes is the GOAT. Big up to Will Hughes. Get him in Liverpool team as muscle. Not too sure about that one again. Kane, would you sign Enner Valencia on a free transfer from Fenerbahce? Asking Stan. De Oliveira, a very big Liverpool fan from Brazil, I believe. So big up to you, Stan.
Stan, I will take anybody, literally anybody. Like the hatred I have for Jordan Ayew.
Oh, it's hatred, is it?
No, it genuinely is hatred.
Yeah.
Like, I don't hate many people, but Jordan Ayew is on that list. And I'd probably take any mid-level championship striker over what we're playing up front. And even, like, they're not going to be great, but it's better than what we've got. Jordan Ayew, defensively, he's a weird one where defensively he'll offer loads, and he's really good at tracking back. He'll win. I think he's won like the second most fouls in the league. Only Zaha had more. And it's great that you're doing that, but if you're the striker, there's probably been 8-9 points we've lost this season when a chance has fallen to him, and he's just wasted it. So it's like either transition to be like a right wing back or something, or play. I mean, we played him as the box-to-box midfielder for a couple of weeks just to see what it was like. And it's like there's good stuff about him as a player, but if we're playing him up front, and I don't know why Vieira is so obsessed with it, it's just like pull your hair out. What are we watching? Why do we watch this every week? And that's the worst part. We'll go back knowing that Ayew, like against Liverpool, Ayew could start against Liverpool. And I know that I'm still going to end up watching that and just suffer for 90 minutes.
Well, you never know. I think it was close last season. It was a Fabinho header that won us the game. I think it was 1-0. But hey, listen, Enner Valencia, I saw him score 2 goals or 3 or 4 goals at the World Cup for Ecuador. So big up to him, man. If you were sending shots then, Stan, then a bit disrespectful to old Enner. The fact that Chamberlain and Keita didn't come on Tuesday says everything. Of course, those guys will be going. Scouse African saying Gallagher is good for you. I mean, it's probably as the boat sailed in terms of bringing Conor Gallagher back to Selhurst Park after a really good on loan season last year.
It always seems to sail, and then it kind of comes back. So if we tried in the summer, they wanted too much. Then it was right, we're moving on forever. Then January, there was the rumours, and then we put in an offer and they wanted more. And then I think it was the Newcastle interest, whether that was kind of real or not, made them put their asking price so high that we were like, yeah, we can't. We tried the loan, they went no. And it looks like now they're going to give him a new deal to like reward him for his loyalty. So I think it is now officially sailed. But I mean, I'd take him back. The issue with Gallagher was, especially when Eze came back from injury second half of last season, we could have played them both. It was one or the other.
Yeah.
And I think that's why the start of this season, Eze started to flourish because he had that role to play. So if Gallagher, I'd take Gallagher back, and I'd probably want Eze to be sold if we did, because one, he'd probably get a good amount of money, and two, they just don't fit together. And if I had to pick one, I'd pick Gallagher. I still like Eze.
Gus, please, mate. I'm still working. He just doesn't give a shit. It's mad. 6 times doesn't bother me. Seeing loads blaming us Scousers for FSG. There's been more talk about that. That Brereton Diaz would be good for Palace, saying Ant Dicko.
We were linked to him as well. Before we took Edouard, we were linked to him. That hurt.
AGT, would you be happy if you signed Mount from Chelsea? No. We spoke about this on Hot Topics. I'm not for it, but for some reason, Mario is really up for it. As you can see, I'm playing with Gus in the background here. I'm so sorry about this, mate. This is just what I have to go through. Right, let's do a lineup prediction for Liverpool then. Gus, right? Let's do a lineup prediction. So it will be Alisson in goal. It will be Trent at right back. Still no Calvin Ramsey. Long-term injury from what we're hearing. Still Van Dijk. And it probably will be Gomez at the back again for Liverpool. Right. Git. So sorry about this. If you're going to play a back five, then I think obviously injury or not. Gus, come on! Leave me alone! Please! No! 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 There he goes. Shut up now. This one looks good. I would actually go with this if I'm totally honest. Big up to Bear for sending this one in. He says Alisson, Trent, Gomez, Van Dijk, Robertson, Fabinho, Bajcetic, Henderson, Nunez, Salah, and Gakpo. As I said, Salah looking good again. Gakpo coming back, firing some shots now as well. I know, mate. I know it's long. This silly old dog is just this is killing me. But then these three up top is something that Liverpool definitely need to consistently put out, because it's not this for me. This is again Luis Diaz to come back, right? But in terms of looking forward the next 2 to 3 years, I would say that this is our first choice front three. Luis Diaz scored a great goal against Palace, as we know, earlier on in the season in that crazy game where Nunez gets the headbutt. But I do think this will probably happen. I do think it will be unchanged from that massive defeat to Real Madrid. Gus does not need his own channel. He's already got an Instagram. He doesn't need any more. Gus going wild, 100%. It's mad. I'd like to see Elliot with more minutes, saying Andrej, big up to you. Gakpo, Nunez, and Salah up front, as we've agreed. Is there going to be any surprises from Palace? I mean, try and name your lineup and see how far you can get.
I don't think you can get many surprises. Yeah, I mean, Gates is already keeper, so it's got to be him. Hopefully Mitchell, Gay, Anderson. Right back could be Ward. I'd want it to be Richards, who, I mean, January, we'd signed him kind of 6 months ago, didn't play much. January had to come in for injury and was our player of the month as a centre-back. But you can also play right back, and Vieira doesn't. But if Klein and Ward aren't available, then there is no one else. So I'd like to see him at right back. Midfield, the core Rays are kind of definite in. Probably Lokonga now, where we took him his deadline day. He had a few off the bench, and I think he started our most recent game, so he's probably going to be that number 8 for now. And he's shown positive signs. There's kind of areas of weakness, but he's a lot better in Palace performances than he has been for Arsenal, so that's kind of one thing that we can kind of cling on to right now. Eze will be kind of in that roving number 10, and then our front three is always, it's like Vieira's just picking names out of a hat. So we'll probably end up with Jeffrey Schlupp left wing, could have Jordan Ayew in there, and he seems to like Mateta up front, so it'll probably be that, which doesn't exactly fill me with confidence. Normally, I'm really positive about stuff, and I still am about us. Like, we're in that transition, so I'm still positive. But it's just Ayew and Mateta are the two that just rattle me, and I feel like we'll see them both.
Yeah, so it will be 2 up top, you reckon, for Palace. Big up to Brace, by the way. Gus is brilliant for making me forget how miserable I feel from the Madrid loss. Lol. He's not brilliant. He's very annoying, but I think he's taken the hint now and he's gone to his bed. So big up to him, and he will not be getting an award. So there you go. That is the predicted lineup for both Liverpool and Crystal Palace. Big up to Cool Dude 11, who says Palace is a must-win times 20, and I totally agree with him. This is not only a must-win; it's not a 6-pointer. This is the game that I would say currently holds all of our hope for the rest of the season. If you win this one, you get, you obviously go further up in the table. But we've obviously got a hope for other results to go our way as well. I know. We could probably do with Chelsea beating Tottenham, if we're honest, because they've slipped away, as we know. Can you make Gus guest of honorary member on the Kop TV? No, doesn't deserve it. But there you go, guys. That is your match preview. Crystal Palace versus Liverpool. Just before we go, Kane, can I get a score prediction from your good self?
This is coming 1-0.
1-0.
I feel like, it's a bit of both. I feel like you'll leave disappointed. Half the Palace fan base will be disappointed. Half will love it. I'm kind of really on the fence in between both, where I'd take a point against Liverpool, but I really want us to get that first win of the year, almost just to kind of lift spirits a little bit. But I think a 1-0, being at home with the lights, I feel like there's just I don't say a defensive masterclass, but we'll be sitting back, playing a lot of like just letting you come to us, one on the counter, hold you for one. Everyone's depressed.
1-0, right. Before I give my score prediction, guys, please make sure you're liking the video, commenting with your score predictions, your lineup predictions, and of course, subscribe to the Kop TV already. Here's a question for you, though, Kane. The return of Darwin Núñez versus Anderson, right?
I'm looking forward to this.
Rattled him in the first game. Received a headbutt, didn't he, from Núñez? A lot of housery in that game from Anderson as well. But I mean, could that flare up again? Is there something there, or has Núñez actually just learned to not get rattled by that stuff anymore? He's obviously going to have Klopp in his ear saying, "Not again. If he tries any funny business, just leave him alone."
Mm-hmm.
But that
I think Anderson will definitely try it a little bit, because Anderson always does that in a subtle, like he's mastered it. So he does it subtly.
Right.
I feel like he'll try it. I feel like in the battle between the two, I think Núñez would now have learned. And I mean, you can't do the same thing twice. You can't do anything like you did the last time. But I think when you get him at kind of the Holmesdale end and you've got the fans at him, if it's 0-0 after 60 minutes and he's attacking at that end, or Anderson's trying to strike, I reckon there could be a little bit of not full head loss, but some head loss. Some head loss.
Ed saying he sees Palace scoring. Head says 3-1 to Liverpool. Hart says 1-1. 6-4 away win, says Mila. That would be a great game. Thank you very much. Jake going for a 2-0. Yeah, probably not.
You might concede 6.
Yeah, that could be true. Well, we beat you by 7, didn't we, a couple of years ago? But there you go. Kane, thanks so much for your time. Big Crystal Palace fan. I'll be seeing you on Saturday, I'm sure. Yeah, exactly. Go and follow Kane and make sure that you watch this game on Saturday night. Take care, Kane. All the best, mate.
Cheers, Nathan. Thank you.
So there you go. That was Kane, big Crystal Palace fan. As we know, he is going for a draw. It's more of a heart situation, but I guess that would be a great result for Crystal Palace, an awful result for Liverpool. We cannot afford to drop points in this one. It's not an option, people. There is no, let's try and get a draw if we're 1-0 down. No, we have to go out and we have to try and win this game to our best ability. Interesting from Cool Dude, who says Darwin off the bench for me. Darwin will be left on the left wing, Gakpo up front. We need a massive reaction, as you know, Sultan. Absolutely true. But we also have to make sure that this result on Tuesday night doesn't necessarily rattle us in the wrong way. Obviously, there's a massive reaction needed, but it can almost go... You're trying too hard and then you make mistakes, right? So we could come out in this game like an angry lion who's been poked through his cage, but at the same time, if they learn to to control us and the crowd get on top of us, then we could almost want it too much, which again leads to mistakes and losses. So it's just unbelievable what we saw the other night, people. I've really had to try and block off everyone for a good 24 hours because everyone, as you can imagine, tried to get in touch with me after that one. But no, we have to win this one on Saturday. And here's a good point here from Alan Martin Almeida, who says, learn from Madrid. Be calm first. There are many games to play and teams that in front will drop points. See, that's the attitude I like. This is a good comment from Alan. Big up to you, my friend. And make sure if you want your comment to be read out without question, then it is a super chat situation, guys. And it does go right back in to helping the Kop TV grow even more. Anything else? And then we sync mentally saying, Andrej, big up to you, my friend. Well, as you heard from Kane, he's going for a 1-1. I am going for... I'm going to go 3-1 Liverpool. I think the firepower is there. It's just a matter of if they can click on the night. It did click for 20 minutes against Real Madrid, but obviously not for the full 90. So we need to make sure that we're alert, especially on the counter-attacks where Palace are very quick. But again, go and deal with that difficult environment. Go and deal with that Saturday night under the lights at Selhurst Park. It's almost going to feel like another Champions League game with the kickoff time. But then you've got Wolves at home on Wednesday, the week after. So we have to make sure that this is the first of at least 6 points going into that United game next Sunday at Anfield. But guys, thank you so much for watching. If you've watched all 36 minutes with us, make sure that you're liking the video. Make sure that you're commenting it. All these things help, guys. I don't want to beg, but all these things like the liking, the commenting, pressing the notification bell, these all massively help us more than you can believe. I sound like Pep Guardiola there. Big up to Kane from DR Sports as well. But Palace aren't giving us 3 at home without taking 2 back. But don't forget, guys, we've won the last 7 games at Selhurst Park. So form, history tells you that Liverpool could easily win this game, but that's the last word I was used to describe going to Crystal Palace is easy, especially with what happened on Tuesday night. So massive reaction needed. All focus now does have to be on the top 4, and we've just got to stick together because the headlines, the questions, the pressure is going to mount even more on the players and the manager if we don't come away from Selhurst Park on Saturday with all 3 points. But there you go. I've been AGT. Make sure that you stick around on the Kop TV because straight after the game on Saturday, myself and Doyle will be with you. And then we go into a massive week next week of more previews, more hot topics. And of course, got that Manchester United game as well. So guys, thank you for watching. Make sure, as I said, you leave your score predictions, your lineup predictions below. And we'll see you next time on the Kop TV. Take care.
Whoa. Just before you go,
don't forget, give us a like, drop us a comment and subscribe to the Kop TV.
The voice of football's most famous stand.